Welcome in to Convene with the Strategy Team. My name is Christy Farmer, and I have my co-host here,
the fabulous Tamisha Weaver.
That's right. And today we are going to follow up. What are we following up on?
So look, we just started having our guests.
Our guests. They've been fabulous too.
They have been lit.
Very insightful.
Mm-hmm. And after each one, you know how you and I sidebar and we kind of talk about things that were enlightening to us. We felt like we need to bring the conversation to you guys, right? So today we're following up with Tiara.
Tiara, yeah. With Fly Fancy.
Fancy. Let me tell you, and shout out to her because we went to her it was everything.
Like in the center of Atlanta, seriously.
Yes, and she brought the people out.
And the food was good
everywhere.
too. Like it wasn't like lamb and lobster and like it was good. Ooh. It was quality food.
Ooh, man.
Stuffed mushrooms.
Drinks running over, drinks galore, good time. The DJ was cool.
Yeah, DJ was good too.
It was a lady, and I think I connected
I got to hit that to Mia.
Yeah, oh yeah, you
did. That's my move now because everybody I like being exclusive. Everybody don't know something that I know how to do it.
But it's so funny because every time you hit it, right? And then the music start playing, they're going to be all of us who don't know it. We're like, right, can we learn? And so
no.
Now I understand.
Listen,
I don't even ask anymore.
Like, if you don't know the Tamia dance, this is not like the electric slide where you just jump in and try to figure it out. Because of the moves and the steps of this line dance, if you don't know it, you're going to step in and literally throw somebody's count off.
Out of the way.
Stay out of the way. I don't know why the person who don't know always come by me.
To you.
Sis, move.
Well, when you explained that to me when we were in Miami, you explained it to me. I stay out the way now. I'm like, you know what? If it's something that I really want to learn.
You learn this one at home.
Right. So anyway, we thought
Point blank, period.
In that order.
That order.
So this is what we're going to do. Every now and then when we have guests and there was something that we like, you know what, we need to kind of deep dive into that. We're going to do these mini segments to where we are going to just go in. Yeah. So today it's all about Tiara. She said a few times during her episode was pay to play.
Pay to play.
Right.
Yes.
And so when we were talking about it, we actually have
Two different perspectives.
Yeah. We have similar. We understand why you need it, but then we also have some things that we look at differently. So
our walk away from it was a little different. Yeah.
Right. So just in your walk and your journey, what has been like some of the times that you feel the need to pay to play, and like why?
Yeah. So there's been a couple of reasons, but when I think of paying to play, I think about mentorship. Paying for courses or classes, or one of the words that goes around all the time now is mastermind.
Right.
And so one of the things that I had to determine was what is the correct price to pay when I want to play at a higher level.
Right.
And so a couple of times it's been to pay to get into rooms with people who are where I want to be, so that you don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Right.
And I found myself that being the case a lot of times. And then when I found myself being in that situation, I became comfortable because like, oh, well, I'm doing better than, all these people.
Right.
And then I would look out or be learning from someone or be in a situation where I'm like, oh, but they operating way more than I am. And although I'm shining over here, if I go into this room, I wouldn't be shining.
And to that point though, so it's not only that you're paying to be in the room of like whoever is leading the mastermind or the workshop or the networking, whatever it is, when you're amongst the people who've paid what you've paid, there's that wisdom, like you may get some nuggets from whoever organized it, right?
Exactly.
But the wisdom really comes and the opportunities come
for those
through
in the room.
Networking.
Yes,
right?
Those who are in a room with you.
Right.
Exactly.
Because you guys, we build these like bonds and these relationships, or you just hear something differently, or, like you said, you can get motivated and motivated beyond the point to where you are now, because it wasn't, it wasn't until I was around my first millionaire that I really had in my mind what that looked like, right? I had to be exposed to it.
Exactly.
And I think it was just, what that is. It's just the exposure.
It's exposure, yeah. So for me, exposure when I pay to play is realizing that, because with the $1 million mark, right? Because my business hasn't hit $1 million mark. I've hit multiple six figures.
Right.
And sometimes or somehow in my mind, I felt like they were different. They must have some ability, some skill that I didn't have. And then when I paid to be in the room with people who were making multi-seven figures, I was like,
they just like me. They just like me. And if they can do it, I can do it.
And the funny thing is, I made it to six figures because of that. Right. Because I started being in room with six-figure earners, and I was like, bruh, sis, if you can do this, like, I know I can make this. Right. And then I got in the room. So my pay to play like thought process of how to determine how much I'm going to spend is I have to get back. I have to feel confident, because part of it is even confidence. You could put two people in the same room paying the same amount for a mastermind or for a course. And if one person believes that this is going to make a difference in their business, then it will. Right. And if another person goes in and pays the same amount, but doesn't believe in the system, doesn't believe in the person teaching it, doesn't believe in their ability to actually put it into place and make it and manifest it and make it happen, then it won't happen. Right. So that's one thing that you can't pay for. Like you have to be intentionally
know what you want to go
exactly
get and get it.
And then the other part is I have to believe that when I put these things in place, this person's going to teach me that I'm going to get at least 10 times back what I put into it. So basically, if I'm going to pay $100 for a course, I need to believe that this course is going to make me $1,000
or more, right?
Yeah, or more. At minimum, it's going to make me $1,000. If I pay $10,000, then what this person is going to teach me should be able to make me $100,000. Right. Now, the part is you have to think about is the time frame. Because if you pay $10,000 this month, do you expect $1,000 to come from it next month? Or are you giving yourself 6 months to make the $100,000? Are you giving yourself? And then what is the person saying who's creating this? Is there, and not just what they're saying, because when you pay to play, what I found is people will pay for something based on what people are saying. And in this day and time, you can't go by what people are saying. You have to go by their receipts and not the receipts that they are handing you, but the receipts that you can go find yourself, right? Because they're going to have somebody who said, and another level to this is also, if someone has won or they have 10 people who has won with their program, do you match up with that kind of person, right? Because they're winning because maybe they already came to the table with certain kind of skills. You're not coming to the table. If you're not coming to the table with those skills, can you still get the same results that they were able to get this other person?
So I'll tell you an example of that, because this is one that I watch all the time. So it could be an influencer, right? So let's just say they have X number of thousands of followers already. And they're trying to sell you a course on how to do something. And you have under 1,000 people that are following you. Right. Well, their course is about, it could be about whatever. But because you're not coming from the same playing field, and I will say too, most of the time when people make it to a certain success, it's hard for them to kind of reach back and teach people that are like at the starting level. It's hard for them to teach people how to do something, right?
Some people so far removed from
it. And then most of the times it's in a different time period. Exactly. So like, prior to Instagram, you having to pay to run ads on Instagram when everything was organic and you can use hashtags to grow and whatever. There are people out there who would be teaching you these methods of use the hashtags and do this and post 3 times a day and all this kind of stuff. But now when Instagram is like, no.
Well, it's the same way when I look for things on YouTube, I will go through and filter to what has been recorded in the last 30 days, 6 months, even a year. With the way the digital age we're in, even something that was a year ago that is not necessarily going to work the same way that it did.
Now we have AI.
Exactly. Yeah.
When AI came into the game, I mean, you taking an email marketing class, 2 years ago or last year, now you have something that has totally changed the game. So you definitely need to know your time periods, right? You need to go into it, like you said, with the mindset of how much of a return am I going to get
in my investment? Right? Exactly. And now, it could be in the long term. Like if they put you in a community, there's plenty of Facebook communities that I'm in right now for things that I've paid for 2 or 3 years ago that still pays me to this day because of the people that are in there are constantly learning. Like the people in this chat weren't talking about this community, weren't talking about AI 2 years ago. Right. But because they are business owners that are always looking to advance, now they're in this community talking about, I'm still making money. Like this program is still paying me by being in this community. So there's things to figure out, like, yes, this return come now, but also can I still be gaining from this investment for time to come?
Yeah.
Is there a community is really important when you're paying. Is there a community attached to this? Like, yes, I know you're going to give me the one-on-one mentorship, but am I going to be the community with the other people you're giving me one-on-one? Because I will learn a lot from them. Just the fact is, it's like,
because you're going through
when people pay for their kids to go to private school, it's not necessarily the educate. Well, actually, it's not. The education itself is typically not better. It is the fact that it is eliminating a certain class of people, a certain mindset of people, a certain so you're setting yourself with a community of people who have that same kind of mindset. Don't have to deal with the same battles financially.
And more opportunities
come, right? So that is what you're paying for when you're paying for, that's something you should be asking when you're paying to play. Like, great, I'm gonna get mentorship from you, but all the other people who pay for mentorship from you, will I be in a room with them too?
Right.
Because that is where I'm going to gain a lot of insight, a lot of, when you give me a one-on-one and I don't necessarily understand what you're saying, I can go to the community and be like, hey, y'all tried this? I know this. Or people are going to be in there sharing because they want to share their wins. They're going to be like, ooh, I did this. And in 3 months, I made this money.
So in Tiara's case, she had, she was in a community and the girl hit her out of the blue and said, look, do you have your ads turned on? If she was in a silo, if she was by herself, if she was operating her business just totally by herself, the girl wouldn't have been able to reach out to her and say, turn your ads on now. I made $10,000 last month. Turn them on. And then she made her $10,000, then $20,000, then, whatever. So you got to be in the community. Now.
All right. So that's my pay to play. What does that mean to you?
I'm going to say it a little differently. Okay. I do not mind paying to play. And the reason why I do not mind is because I'm big on energy, right? I look for ways to barter, okay? Because I know my skill set.
You're the queen of barter too.
Right. And I know my skill set. And my skill set is needed across any board. There's hardly ever somebody that'll turn me down for me giving me my time to help them either problem solve, to help them build a website, to help them strategize their business. There's hardly ever a time somebody will turn that down because they know what I bring to the table. So the key thing is, if you're going to barter, right, if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to go after people and barter, you have to have something to barter.
To offer,
it has to go both ways. And it has to be something that is of value, right? So like I was talking to a young lady a few weeks ago, and she has a studio space, right? And so she's also a photographer. And so she says, she's just getting started with renting out her studio, and then she's also like really stepping out on faith and just taking her photography full time, right? So she tells me, she says, I have to turn down people who want my photography services, and they say that I'm going to get exposure because that's really, people can say, hey, you come shoot me, and I'm going to put it all over here, and I'm going to tag you and say that you did it, but that's not really. That may or may not bring anything into fruition, right? But when you can come and say, hey, look, I know you're just getting started. I'm going to give you 4 hours of strategy sessions a month for you to come shoot me or, whatever. That is something tangible. She's going to be able to see things, her business move by, leaps and bounds.
Right.
Before she would, see something come from the referral, somebody referring you just because you're tagging them or whatever. Yeah. So I always say, and again, you have to know your value. And because I know I bring a lot, I am confident when I can go in and tell somebody, hey, look, I have this. I need this.
Right.
So that's basically what it was when we were talking about it. I was like, I will offer the money because I understand it's energy and it's going to come back. But I'd rather give you my talent and my time, for that.
And you're great at that. I mean, you're all the time. You're like, so we can do this, and I have this, and I'm like, how do you have access to that? Oh, because I did this with this person, and I did this. I'm like, girl, like I'm learning. I'm definitely taking notes because there are a lot of things that I can offer. I just don't have it packaged and ready to be like, listen, I need this. Let me do this for you for this amount of time, and you do this for me. And now what I will do is, instead of saying, well, you're going to get a lot of customers from me if you do my photo shoot, I will pay for the first time, right? And then I know you're going to get customers from me. So then when I need to come back, I'll be like, hey, remember, such and such? Like, because it's proven. At that point, like, you can't, it's not like I'm telling you and you don't know. No, it happened. Like I'm going to post that you did my pictures and then I'm be like, hey, did such and such reach out to you? Yeah, they reached out to me. Hey, did such and such reach out? Yeah, they reached out to me. I'm doing that thing. Hey, did such and such. Well, then when I come back, like most people will offer listen, I got such and such. You come on and I got you next time or whatever. But if they don't, then I will ask.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm going to ask. I'm like, so since I got you those 3 things, I know it's normally this amount. So what are we going to do for this? Because then you'll lose. Like you'll lose me. And then I'm not referring you to nobody else. You know what I mean? Like they find you. If people come asking like, who did your pictures? I'm not going to be like, I ain't sharing her with you, girl. I'm still going to share somebody ask, but I'm not intentional about putting you out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's it. And like I said, it was really cool to hear that she said it a few times within the story that she was telling of that there was a few times in her, her journey that she had to pay to play. And, especially if you're just getting started with something, the learning curve that it's going to take you to learn that and to get to where you are.
Yes.
If you pay the coach, the mentor, get the ebook and all this, you can definitely kind of cut that time down to where you can spend more time basking in the fruit.
Success loves speed. And I think that's one of the things that people forget or use maybe incorrectly about success loving speed. And that's one of the ways paying to play is allowing your success to speed up faster past the learning curve that you mentioned. So I love it.
Yeah, this was awesome. So again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, like this episode, go back and watch our other episodes, like those too. And, tell a friend to tell a friend.
That's right.
All right. Until the next time.